This is Donut SMP. In today's video, I'm going to show you my top 10 money making methods. So if you want to stick around, get all the way to number 1. It's going to progressively get better the longer we go. We're going to start with number 10, and that is woodcutting. So we're just going to go to random TP and whatever one you have the best ping in. And I'll bring you guys back whenever we have a forest. We have a forest, so we're going to go through, pick up all the logs that were already blown up there, and we're going to break down a couple trees. We're going to try and get to a stack as fast as possible. So we have one stack and one log, so we can use this one log to craft a crafting table. We're going to want to place that down, and we're going to use this to create signs or like chests or composters. For the sake of this video, we're just going to do signs because it's pretty easy to craft them. So we're going to use one stack here to craft sticks, and then the rest of this is just going to go into signs. You do AH over here, type in sign. As you can see, the cheapest sign is going for about 3k. Don't worry about that one, it's going to sell almost instantly. But it's about 3k per sign, or you can sell it per stack for 16, but normally it goes for about 10k per stack, and they do sell pretty quickly. It's a simple method, but it will help you get to 1 million pretty quick. At number 9, if you couldn't tell, we're going to be swapping from wood cutting to going to using a shovel and collecting sand. We're going to be collecting as much sand as we can. I know with the normal efficiency 3 diamond shovel, we can get about 1500 sand or about 3/4 of an inventory, but we're going to go through and do a little bit different from orders. We're going to use this and craft some glass. We're going to use the glass to turn it into stained glass. So I'm not going to collect too much, just to not spend like too much of the video's like time. But as you can see, in that short amount of time, I've already got almost 3 full stacks. So I'm going to create a little system here just to smelt it and start working on getting the glass created. As you guys can see, I have built a little smelter system. Right here is where the blaze rods will go in, just because you can buy blaze rods and it's cheaper to actually buy blaze rods than it is coal, and they are more efficient. And then up here is just the chest for the sand to go in. It'll go down into the hopper and then into the furnace, and it's going to work on smelting all their glass. And while it's doing that, I'm going to work on getting a 2 tall flower and seeing if I can get over a stack of them, just so we can turn this into stained glass really quick. What I did here is I just put down a flower. We went with the lilac because it is a 2 tall and it does create magenta dye, so we can get the magenta stained glass. So all you have to do is place it down on a piece of dirt and then bone meal it, and you're just going to want to do this until you get about a stack. It will make about 2 stacks of the dye, so then you can create quite a few stacks of the stained glass. I think it should be about done now. So if we go down here, look in here, yep, we have all of our glass. But what we're going to do now is we need to get a piece of wood, which I really wish, or a crafting table is fine. That's what I needed. We're going to take this lilac, turn it into magenta dye, come over here just so we can fast craft, and we're going to want to create as much of this as we can. So out of that, we're able to get 4 stacks of magenta stained glass. So if we go to where magenta is right here, it is 85k per stack. So we can list this for about 75k, and it should sell pretty quickly. At number 8, we have villagers. This is my villager farm that I have. You can either find the villagers going through the surface and looking for a village and hoping that no one has killed all the villagers. I have found a couple that way. Or you can disable your mob spawns, or like turn it on so the mobs will spawn. So you want it so it says currently on, so you want to make that say off and the mobs will start spawning. You're going to want to find a zombified villager. It has a random chance of spawning whenever you're in like a cave or when you're building a box for all your villagers to be in. But you're going to want to try and find some really good trades whenever you do get them. So like right now we have a couple of trades that are good. I didn't lock that trade in. But if I come over here, we have a mending trade. You're going to want to try and find some trades that can help you build armor pieces, because that'll help you out as well. So I'm going to aim for like a protection 4 or a blast protection or an unbreaking 3 on this one. Preferably like the protection or blast protection, only because unbreaking 3 isn't as expensive as the other ones. But I'm going to show you guys how I go through and get some emeralds. As you can see here, the stakes for emeralds, I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and it's 32 sticks for 2 emeralds. So we're just going to spam this on all the villagers until I run out of sticks, and then we're going to buy a mending book. Alright, so this one's out, but if I come over here, I can now buy a book of mending, and you're just going to want to keep doing this as much as you can. You can either mine all the wood yourself, or you can create orders for the wood to get sticks. Or you can just buy the wood off the auction house. I would definitely recommend at the beginning to mine the wood, but later on you can start doing orders to get all the emeralds even faster. And if you can get other villagers that do other different types of trades, like you can get the butcher to do like pig meat, and that'll be quick because you can get a spawner with that as well using your shards. So if we go here, you can get a big spawner and then you can do trades with the butcher that way. At number 7, it's one of the easiest ways and it takes the least amount of effort, but it's going to be going to /AFK, and you're just going to want to go to any AFK area. While you're in the AFK area, every 1 minute you're going to get 1 shard, and with 500 shards you can buy a skeleton spawner, which are going for over 2 million coins right now. So the more and more you AFK here, the more money you can make from it, and you can have up to 5 accounts active at once without getting into any trouble. So you can have 5 accounts in the AFK area, and that'll give you about 15 to 20 spawners every day. At number 6, we have brewing potions. It sounds easy because it is. You're just going to want to get your bottles. You're going to want to craft a brewing stand. So it's 1 blaze rod and then cobblestone right below it. You're going to want to place that down. And the potion that we're going to be going for is going to be water breathing. As you can see, the cheapest one is for 59k right now, but if we go a little bit, okay, he has a lot of them up for 59k, but other than that, it goes up to 80k. So we're going to list ours a little bit above the 59k. I'm going to do like 70k. If you buy the puffer fish for around 1.5 mil per stack, then you can end up making over $15 million if you use the water breathing potion and sell them at 80k per stack, or like per bottle. At number 5, we have using orders and flipping the order items into selling it on the auction house. So a big one that you guys can do is with orders, you want to go through and look up how much a log is. So the cheapest log right now for most money per item. So if you look at like oak logs, it's 232, but if you can find the jungle logs, it will sell for a little bit less, so it'll be cheaper for you to buy. So right now it looks like the cheapest one, or the most expensive one, is going to be 115. So you're going to want to trade it for around $120 per log, and once you get a full stack from that, you're going to want to take that stack and craft it into signs, boats, composters, anything of that nature, and use that to just try and make your money. It is pretty quick to make over 10-15 mil from doing it. Here at number 4, we're going to be talking about base rating. So you're going to want to go underground to a little bit above bedrock, not completely at bedrock, but it's just like about 5 blocks above, because most people don't want to go all the way to bedrock and have the chance of showing off their bedrock on the floor. So they go a couple blocks above, and you're going to want to use F3 and 1 to pull up the pie chart. So as you can see where I'm at right now, there's currently shulker box, sign, chest, and ender chest. So that means there is a high possibility of a base being nearby. We would just have to go down underground and mine around. One thing that you guys can do, and I'll show it off really quick, is you want to go down into the ground, and then you're going to want to get a invis potion, just like so, and mine a couple blocks. And age, search, invis. You're going to want to buy any of these, go through, use it, so that turns you invisible. Use a golden apple to get some health back, and then just throw an ender pearl and then do F5, and you're able to see into the ground. If you guys have made it this far into the video, I will link my Discord in the description, and if you guys could like and subscribe, that would be great. Let's try and aim for 30 likes on this video. I appreciate it a lot. At number 3, it's TPing people to your base and having them rate your base from a live stream. A lot of them will give you money. As you guys can see in chat, this guy gave me 3 mil, and it took me just a couple minutes to be able to find him on YouTube and ask him to TP to my base to give me a base rate and pay me the money. At number 2, we have skeleton spawners. Skeleton spawners currently run the server with almost everything that is being done. You want to use the skeleton spawner and place it down, and you're going to want to create a like bone meal system. So right now I have a skeleton spawner. You're going to want to place it, and it'll start spawning the skeletons inside of itself and like spawning the drops. What you're going to want to do with the bones is turn it into bone meal and then into bone blocks, and then you can fill orders. Bone blocks are going for $440 per block. It's a very quick way to make money. but you can also use the spawners for the method at number 1. At number 1, we have the kelp farm. It is one of the best farms on Donut SMP, and it currently runs the economy. As you guys can see, one dry kelp block is going for $750 per, and there's almost always at least one of these orders up. So it's a very quick and fast way to make money. It does take a lot of skeleton spawners to make it efficient. If you don't have a lot of skeleton spawners, then you can also create a bone meal farm where it'll turn moss into bone meal, and then you can craft that into bone blocks and then use the bone blocks inside of your farm, and it'll just speed up the efficiency even more.